You know, it's sad what fentanyl has done to this country. How many parents have been affected by it? How many people have been affected by it? How many people have died because of it?
Hi, my name is Lyric. I'm a recovering fentanyl and heroin addict, and I am 19 months sober. I just wanted to let you guys know that in the state of Texas, between the years in 2021 and 2022, there was an 86% increase in fentanyl-related overdoses. This is for the state of Texas. Wake up, people. Our friends are dying.
So I'm gonna have like a complete transparent moment. I have came to the terms that I might lose my daughter before she even turns 21. October 6th, 2022, our lives changed forever. My daughter overdosed on fentanyl. She was given a pill that she didn't know was fentanyl. That was fentanyl. And she overdosed. I had to revive my baby. And I'm forever stuck with that image of watching my baby turn blue. Try to get her help, but because she has not been addicted for a year, I can't get her treatment. So I'm looking at my daughter every day, and I don't recognize that little girl. I don't recognize my baby at all. She's lost so much weight. Her skin is gray. She is in the clutches of addiction, and she's trying to do it on her own, and she can't. And trying to find her a therapist so I can get her to talk about her traumas, because my baby's been through so much. But I just had to go through all my photos of my baby. Thank God my mom who takes a lot of pictures. And I found all the pictures from the time she was little up until recently. And I'm just going to make a photo album and mentally prepare myself to know that my baby might not make it to 21. It's so hard. And I feel like such a failure. Like if I was in a better mental state, would my daughter be going through this? This is the shit that nobody talks about when you're a parent to a child who overdosed and survived. My baby is still walking dead. I'm watching my baby die in front of me.
It's heartbreaking to watch anybody go through something like that. You know, it's sad. You can't convince somebody that they shouldn't feel guilty. She says she feels like a failure. Is it her fault that her daughter took a pill that she didn't know was fentanyl? I mean, I know for me, I'm not taking nothing. I don't know what it is. But again, not everybody's like that. Especially when you're addicted, you'll take whatever you can get your hands on if you think it's going to get you high.
So 1 out of 5 addicts in recovery go on to live a successful life in recovery, which means that 4 out of 5 people relapse and fall right back into the same routine. According to SAMHSA.gov, there are around 48 million Americans that struggle with substance or alcohol use disorder. There are roughly 3,000 physicians that are specially trained to treat that. What that equates to is for every 16,000 addicts, there is 1 physician. That number is absurd. So, I just encourage you to spread awareness, do what you can, talk about it, because we've got to do something, because our kids are getting hooked on this shit coming from overseas, and it's killing our country.
So, I just left the emergency room. I have chronic pain issues, so I'm in the emergency room a lot, unfortunately. And if anybody who deals with chronic pain issues specifically, and has to be like in the hospital a lot, you definitely know what I'm about to talk about, with the opioid crisis and how you get treated as pain seeking, when you go to the hospital. Because, if I go to the hospital and obviously I'm in pain management, so I take Percocet daily. I take Percocet and that don't even do shit. So that's a whole nother conversation. But so obviously my pain tolerance is really high. So if I go to the ER I don't want no fucking Toradol. I don't want Tylenol. I literally, it's not going to do anything. It's not going to touch the pain. And so I have a crazy high tolerance for pain meds because I've been in pain management for quite some time. And I don't even know where I'm going with this, but I want to have a goal this year to change things with this opioid crisis, because so many people are hurting, so many people are suffering, so many people can't get help because they're treated as pain seeking. And like I get it, right? Like I get it. Like I know there's a crisis and I know there are things that have to change, but in the same token, they're punishing people who actually need help. I literally, there are so many times where I have to gamble if I'm going to go to the hospital and hope that it's going to be worth my time. I have to hope and pray that I get a doctor who is not going to treat me like a pain-seeking client, and hope that they help me. And every time I go to the hospital, I'm all smiles, because I know that if I'm extra dramatic, that's just going to be a ding on me. I know that if I go in there feeling how I feel, I go in there sobbing and crying. Every now and then it happens because shit, hey. But I have to go in there with a smile on my face. I have to go in there extra happy and act a certain way to hope that they will help. That has to change. And I don't know where to start. I don't know what I need to do to start to create change, but it has to happen because it has to change.
What can she do? I mean, I was a cop for a lot of years and we tried to get people help, but I mean, I don't know how the whole thing works. I don't know how she would change the doctor's minds to think that she's pain seeking, because we used to deal with that a lot. Even as police officers, they would call us and say that they had somebody in their ER that they thought was, pain seeking, and pills and things of that nature. And I don't know if it was legit or not, but listening to her, it makes you believe that there are people that are legitimately hurting and they get treated like everybody else that's actually just trying to get more drugs so they can stay high. The whole situation is just jacked up.
Today I wanted to talk about the medications that are available in the U.S. for after surgery. So as we know, there's a huge opioid epidemic, right? And this whole thing with if you're in chronic pain, you can't get prescriptions. It's like a complete nightmare. I'm not entirely sure how it is in other countries, but in the U.S., it's horrible. When you're in chronic pain, you have to basically beg and beg and beg to be given anything to even remotely help the pain. And then you're given a medication that you get 5 pills, and they're like, we'll see how this does. It's okay, this is ridiculous. Anyways, whole point of this story is in Europe, at least in Germany, I'm not sure about every country, they have this, which is Targine, and it's 20 milligrams of oxycodone, and it also has naloxone, which is Narcan. And what is Narcan? Oh, it prevents overdoses. Why is this not available in the U.S.? I talked to my doctor here, and he was absolutely amazed that this even exists, because he was like, why does this not exist in the U.S.? Someone please help me understand. This would probably solve the problem.
10 days ago, I lost my son to addiction, to an overdose, something he only recently confided in me about. My baby was 26 years old, and he wanted to get better. He fell into a trap in a system where mental health care is lacking at best. And so he turned to self-medication in the form of opioids and became addicted, and he wanted help. And in the process of me trying to help him find that help and having door after door slammed in our faces and being turned away from programs or given another number to call or transferred to a different department, he lost his battle, and he was poisoned by the serial killers that we call drug dealers. And my boy, my beautiful, beautiful, beautiful boy, I don't know how to pick up the pieces. I don't know how to, and I wanted to help him, and he wanted to get better. I love my son. I'm not ashamed of my son. My son was strong. He was strong enough to ask for help, and the system failed us. The system failed him. What's it going to take? What's it going to take for things to change, for our young people to stop being poisoned, for there to be health care and mental health care in place to help them when they're crying out, they're begging for help, when a mother asks and begs for help. But her child's an adult, so oh no, they have to ask themselves what they're asking, and nobody's answering. And I lost my son.
I am an emergency room doctor in the United States of America, and I'm making this video because the opioid epidemic continues to plague our society. Every day I work, I watch people suffer. I watch their families suffer. Nearly 100,000 people died from opioids just last year, and that is just a measure of this. The suffering that addiction produces is immeasurable. The families suffer. This isn't a plague of just the individuals that use drugs. Their families suffer. Their communities are being destroyed. So there has to be a sensible public policy to address this, and I haven't seen any yet. All we can do right now is offer people treatment and make it available for them. That's it. This is obviously ineffective. The families who suffer with these addicts cannot force them into treatment. And that is reasonable, actually, because if you force people into rehab, as soon as they're done with the rehab, they will start using drugs again because their mind is not right, they're not ready. But there more can be done. There are medications out there that can be forced, that should be forced on these people in order to get them to, in order to help them. And not only help them, but help their families, help the communities that they live in. Drug addicts, people who are suffering from addiction, are unable to make their own decisions. They are unable to understand their condition. The drugs cloud their mind. We can clearly see that they are unable to make their own medical decisions reasonably. So what I would do if I was a politician, if I was in power, I would create a public policy that would actually help these people. I would utilize the resources at my disposal to help them, to force them into help. Nobody cares about these people like their families do. As soon as an addict enters the criminal justice system, as soon as their life is clearly falling apart because of their addiction, their family should get medical power of decision over it immediately. They should be easily able to apply it and easily get it because obviously the addicts themselves are unable to make their medical decisions. And with this power of medical decision making, they should be able to force them into detox facilities where they will be rapidly detoxed and then injected with Vivitrol, which blocks the effect of opioids. So you can't get high anymore. And once these people are stable enough, they should maybe get their own power back over their own medical decision making. But every time they relapse, if they survive that relapse, their family should immediately revert to having a medical decision making power over them. And it's that simple. It is really that simple. This empowers the families to actually help these individuals because once they are detoxed and placed on Vivitrol, they can no longer get high. It would be exceedingly difficult to get high. And resources should be made available where this is actually enforced through the legal system, and these people get these shots. If we were forcing people to get COVID shots, especially young people that didn't necessarily need them, then we can certainly force the people who are falling apart, who are destroying themselves, their families, and their communities to receive shots that will stabilize them and actually help them, help everybody involved. That's what I would do if I was a politician. And that would
enable them. They have to want it for them.
And I am almost certain that it would be effective. It wouldn't be perfect, but it would certainly be effective. That's it.
A quick reminder, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe down below, and let's continue the video.
So the only advice that I can give for this is to not enable them. They have to want it for themselves. They have to be ready to put in the work to be clean and sober. So that would mean like not helping them with a place to live, not giving them money. And yeah, they may get angry and they may say some hurtful things, but in the long run, they'll be thanking you. I know for me, my family didn't enable me, and that led me to my rock bottom. And after I got help, I was so grateful that they didn't enable me, because I don't think I would have ever gotten to the place of like despair that I got to, you know?
I haven't been on here for a while. My stepson recently passed away, and he was 20, and he just had a baby not too long ago. And I want to say this to bring awareness. And fentanyl is a very, very dangerous drug. And we have a lot of people dying from fentanyl, and them thinking that or Percocet or something else in a pill form, but they're cutting these pills with fentanyl. And he took what he thought was a Percocet, and he passed away very quickly. And my heart was and my heart breaks for anybody who's going through this. And all of my kids, he was so young. He just turned 20 this year, and now his son has to grow up without him here.
From my perspective, as far as just commenting on what we all just watched, my only dealing with that particular drug was just on the street. You know, we were told to be very careful because of the fact that just fentanyl the size of a grain of salt can kill you. And some of you have probably seen videos where police officers have opened up something or opened up a package and immediately they like almost die right there on the scene, you know. So that's my experience as far as this whole fentanyl thing. And just watching what I've seen in the news and the media, it's amazing how potent this stuff is. But what's crazy to me, and you guys tell me if you agree, you know, I know for me, I don't just take stuff that I don't know what it is. You know what I'm saying? If somebody gives me, hey, take this, unless it's my wife or somebody I trust. You know what I mean? I mean, really trust, like a sister or a parent. I'm not just taking a pill. Hey, this is Percocet, you know. But I had, like I said earlier, I know that addicts, just to get something, they're going to do whatever they need to do to get it. And if he's thinking it was Percocet, just like his stepmother just said, he's going to take it. But sadly, in his case, the person that gave him the pill cut the pill with fentanyl, and it probably was way more than that grain of salt in that Percocet. I mean, it's just sad. I mean, all the way around when you look at the whole situation. Um, if you really wanted to go deep, you know, I've always believed that if they wanted to stop drugs from coming into this country, it could be stopped. One thing I've learned as I've gotten older is everything is driven by and fueled by this right here. And you saw me do this earlier in the video because there's a reason why that drug that the young lady was talking about that has the opioid in it as well as the Narcan or the Noxalone. Why isn't it available over here? Because we live in a country where pharmaceutical companies are trying to get super duper rich and they don't care who dies or who's affected by it. And I hate to say that, but it's just facts. So my heart goes out to all these people that lost children, or feel like they're going to lose their children because they are addicted. You know, the one lady in the very beginning, the black lady with the glasses. I mean, if you guys are praying, people pray for her daughter, you know, that her daughter would find her way out of that dark place of addiction. You know, and this is not to condemn anybody that's had this issue because all of us have something. For some, it's drugs. For some, it's porn. For some, it's lust. For some, it's alcohol. For some, it's shopping. For others, it's gambling. I mean, there's so many things that can be an addiction. Social media, gaming, there's a lot of things. So, anyway, pray for these people. You know, please make sure you guys give me your thoughts. I'm curious your experiences. Maybe you work in the field and you can drop a little bit of knowledge about this particular drug. That would be helpful. Also, make sure you like this video and also make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so while watching this video. And as always, I love you guys and I will check you on the next one. Later.